What does success feel to you or look like to you in your heart or maybe on paper?
Success is not a pecuniary thing. It's about being the biggest enemy for any creative is procrastination.
Let me just collect this thought. You've styled Kylie Minogue. It's fashion, but it's landscape. Welcome to the Creators Chat. My name is Kashif Harrison, and I sit down with some bold creatives who've turned their passion into profession. We talk about their hustle, their struggles, their ups, their lows, their creative process. And if you are one of those who's wanting to create what you love, but are struggling in the process and have some self-doubt, this show is for you. So without any further ado, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so we can bring more of such interviews to you. But for now, let's begin the Creators Chat. So today I have Ian McMaugh, a creator that I genuinely had the pleasure of knowing a few years back.
Yep.
A decade back now.
I think so, yeah.
Owner of the Budweiser Garden Design, right? Before stepping into landscape designing, though, you were a fashion designer.
Correct.
And now you had your first photo exhibition in May this year, which was called The Crossing Water.
Crossing the water.
The
yeah.
Crossing of the Water. And now, and also you released a limited edition photo book along with the exhibition, correct?
Correct, yeah.
You're in the creative process of now updating that photo book with some texts. How is this going for you?
To give me a kickstart, I actually enrolled in a creative writing course, and that has helped me a lot in terms of articulating the things that I want to say to accompany the photograph. So hopefully within 6 months I'll have that up and ready to launch. Hopefully.
It's always those nerves. Now, can I ask you, so you've done so many things, fashion, and I've seen your work, and I'm so jealous that why was not I one of your muse? That is one of my concerns here. But when was the first time you turned your passion into a paycheck? Do you remember that moment?
After I left university, I'd traveled the world, and I'd always been interested in textiles and fashion. Was collecting vintage garments, was selling those later at Paddington markets. Then I started making my own clothes. So in my 20s, it was a really hard struggle being an independent designer. So the first light bulb moment would have been the day that Kim Bowen and Stevie Hughes, who were a dynamic creative duo from London, they arrived in town and they knocked on my studio door. They'd seen a fashion show that I'd done with my dandy range.
Okay.
They loved the range, so they took it away and showed the editors of Harper's Bazaar. A week later, I get a call. They stormed in, they take me and the clothes and the models, and we did a shoot for Harper's Bazaar. And I got, I think, 6 pages in Harper's Bazaar. So that was kind of my launching pad and the light bulb moment, because then I realized that, you know what, I can make a living out of this. And that's what happened.
That is such a beautiful story. And I'm pretty sure the people who are watching us or listening to us right now will definitely get a bit motivated, because I think the process these days of doing anything creative, there's a lot of self-procrastination, right? You feel like giving up very quickly before even starting this process. Like, I'll be very honest with you. The Creators Chat was not just something that came up overnight. It was a lot of doubt, a lot of procrastinating. And then I was like, listen, I do want to make a space where creators can talk about their journeys, and maybe someone out there, just like myself, can be motivated.
Well, I think the biggest enemy for any creative is procrastination. That's, the fear of failing, the fear of losing your self-esteem if things go wrong. So you just have to have the courage and the fire in your belly to keep going.
So, what was that moment, that fire in your belly that kept you going?
Um, well, I think I had that as a 15-year-old. You know, it was an ambition that I was hatching. I grew up on a farm in a very fairly isolated rural community, and um, it. I knew from a very young age that I was gay, so that was my secret that I had to hide from the world. And in my retreat, I had various ambitions, things that I wanted to do that would get me out of town and launch my life in Sydney, basically.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that always is a beautiful story to hear, that you were. I think being queers, we have to always be our hero who actually steps out of the comfort zone and puts themselves out there, which you did brilliantly. Now, what part of your queer identity fuels your creative element?
Well, I think just being comfortable with my queer sensibility and knowing that when I express myself, I'm going to have an audience of people with, like-minded queer sensibilities. So yeah, it's just having confidence in being honest.
Wow. And speaking of honesty, so let's take you back in time. Okay, we're taking you back in a time machine to your 15-year-old self. What is that advice that you could give to your 15-year-old self if you could go back in time about when they first started feeling a bit different?
Well, looking back, I'm actually proud of my 15-year-old self because I realized that, yes, I did have a secret and I hid it very well, but I didn't let the secret overwhelm me. I wasn't that frightened that I felt I had to change myself. I actually embraced the secret and it became something that I nurtured because I realized that once I got to Sydney, things would be okay. There'd be a safety net there, ready to welcome me. This was the period when gay liberation had become a thing in Sydney or worldwide. And so I had an inkling of what was going on down in the big smoke. My plan was to work hard at school to get a scholarship to university, which I did do because that would be a ticket out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was proud of that 15-year-old person. But I guess for kids today, and it is easier for kids today, but my advice would be don't be afraid of your secret. Get out there and express it.
Get out there and express it. I love that. Because that's what we're doing right now. And I think the self-expression now is turned into, rather than going out physically, I think now it's more online, right? People are doing Instagram accounts and, I think there's more queerness out there on the internet
Absolutely.
more than ever.
More than ever.
And then also there's so much hate out there, more than ever.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that.
No.
Now, see, failure is something everyone's so scared of, especially when you're in that very vulnerable stage where you're like, oh my God, are people going to love this work? Am I even on the right path? Is this even going to take me anywhere? But it's interesting because I think, was it Will Smith? Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, said that you have to fail and you don't have to be afraid of failure. So what is that failure that maybe ended up being a blessing for you? Do you remember anything like that?
In terms of creative failure?
Yeah, in terms of you were supposed to be doing something, but that failed, and then you went the other way around, and then it worked.
Well, there was a point when I'd been designing menswear for quite some time. And then I became a bit jaded with that, perhaps. I had a few flops maybe. And then I had the opportunity to start designing women's wear. So the failure of the menswear kind of launched my women's wear label. So,
And speaking of women's wear, was Madonna one of your inspirations back in the days? I had to ask.
no, not really.
Wow. Okay.
Because there was a moment when I was introduced to Kylie Minogue by the then fashion editor of Follow Me, Nicole Benithan, who was still a successful stylist. So she was styling Kylie at the very beginning of her career. And Nicole had noticed what I was doing with women's wear, and she asked me to collaborate with her on some outfits for Kylie's first tour and for stills for her albums and stuff. So, yes.
So let me just collect this thought. You've styled Kylie Minogue.
I made clothes for her, yeah.
Well, she wore them.
She wore them, and they ended up actually, ironically, a couple of decades later in the retrospective at the Powerhouse Museum.
What? So you make one of the most iconic dresses for Kylie Minogue, which is now one of her most iconic looks.
And some of those outfits were the ones that were shown in the Powerhouse, then travelled to the Victoria and Albert in Manchester, I think it was. I think that was around 1990 something, late 90s maybe.
Okay, I just want to take this moment to say all the Kylie Minogue lovers out there to comment below because they're gonna love this. They're gonna love this bit. I went to Kylie Minogue's concert last year. Oh my God, she is such a powerhouse.
She sure is.
And I think she doesn't need dances. She doesn't need choreographers. She doesn't need a whole show. She can sing.
Plus, she has that rare ingredient, charisma.
Of course, of course. And I'm so glad that I got to witness Kylie live. It was a long time coming. And it's funny that we just got last minute tickets, me and my boyfriend, to Kylie's concert. Very lucky, very close seats. And the person who was sitting next to us was obsessed with me and us. Yeah, she actually did all her research before giving me the tickets. It was a last minute ticket buy. And I'm so glad that Kylie sang Say Something, which was from her 2020 album Disco, which I feel is one of the most iconic albums. And she should do a tour. I'll say that.
So did the audience go off?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, good.
They went off. They went crazy. Everyone was sharing because it was such a surreal moment as well. Because I don't know if you've been to Kylie's, what is that tour? Tension tour.
No.
So in that, there's a moment where she, and I don't want to give it away, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now that there's a moment where she actually is center stage. A disco ball comes down. She's singing acoustic with a guitar next to her, and she's singing all the disco hits.
Wow, incredible.
Magic, Say Something, and I think so far I remember these two, but she sang them, and people went off. Moment. Now, let's gather ourselves from Kylie. What was the moment? I'm pretty sure that there would have been lots of moments for you where you felt you were most misunderstood for what you do. Maybe as a designer, maybe as a landscape designer, maybe even while taking pictures. So was there any moment that you were misunderstood by someone from the community or from people, or people just saying there's too much hats on your head?
Not really. I mean, I think in general people misunderstand creative careers. They think it's all about glamour and that it is a piece of cake that comes easy. But as you know, it's not like that. I mean,
It is.
there's lots of hard slog. There's lots of very lonely moments when you have to struggle alone to try and reach your goal. Yeah.
Over the years, I think you've done and you've changed your creative work in so many ways, right? What does success feel to you or look like to you in your heart or maybe on paper?
Um, well, to be honest, in my heart of hearts, I just feel grateful that I've been able to tick the boxes that I formulated in my 15-year-old brain. All the things that I wanted to do as a kid, I think I've done them. So success is not a pecuniary thing. It's about feeling comfortable and happy with what you've achieved in life. Yeah.
And see, that's very profound because I feel there's so many times we forget to be satisfied or just be happy looking back our journey. Oh, I achieved that, oh, I achieved that. And then we're always thinking ahead these days, which is a very frustrating thing to do.
Yeah.
Comparing yourself on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's just a very sad place to be. Now, Ian, see, being queer, I feel we've grown up not only just having people who we look up to, but I think icons as well, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that growing up, I had so many icons as well that I was motivated, starstruck by. So if I ask you the question that what queer icon were you most fascinated by growing up?
This will be someone that you've probably never even heard of. As kids, we were allowed to watch a soap opera called Number 96.
Okay.
This was in the 70s, which introduced the first male character in Australian television, basically. His name was Joe Hasham, and not only was he gay, but he was super handsome. And as a 15-year-old, I was obsessed with him. I had a huge crush on him. And he became an icon because he was the first out man on television.
And it mattered to you because the fact that he was very out and out a gay man.
It mattered because he was accepted for his gayness. So it gave me confidence that when I get to Sydney, I can come out as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ian, what's the most healing thing someone has ever told you? What is that?
Probably something I heard recently from my 95-year-old next door neighbor. We share books. We have a mutual passion for reading and for literature. So I'm always swapping books with her. And she just sent me at 95, she's recently worked out how to use a computer. So she's constantly sending me emails of book reviews. And one of her last messages was, it's never too late to learn. So hearing that, I thought was really beautiful because that's a great message, a great mantra that we are never too late, too old to learn. And I think curiosity is such a precious thing to have in our lives, to be always adventurous and curious about so many different things.
Of course. And I feel like that curiosity is also like a drive that keeps you going, especially if you're creative.
Definitely. Yeah.
Now, and I'm asking this question purely because I just turned 39 this year. And I'm turning 40 next year. And I think that obviously aging is a big thing, especially when you are a bit self-obsessed. And I will acknowledge the fact that I am very self-obsessed, as you can tell from my Instagram pictures. But with age, how has your relationship with yourself, like with your body, with your look changed over the years? Because you've been a fashion designer, and I assume that you had a look back then, and I've seen some pictures, and you were a very handsome man, even then. Then you went into your dandy era, so it tells me that you're definitely someone who cares how you look.
Mm.
But how has your relationship changed over the years
Um,
with your self-image?
well, when I was younger, I was a lot more self-obsessed, and I mean, youth culture today is self-obsessed. I mean, Instagram is a selfie
Yes.
obsessed culture. Um, but I was guilty of that as well. But now I just recently turned 70, so now I embrace my old age. I don't care about my grey hair. I don't care about my wrinkles. That's all part of who I am now. So, yeah.
Mm. What keeps you grounded when everything just feels too much, that there's a lot going on?
Definitely nature and my dogs, walking them within nature. But until recently, I had a refuge in the Blue Mountains, which I sold last year. So whenever the heat was too high in Redfern, I would escape to the cottage in the mountains, where I'd stay for however long it took to recharge my batteries. And it was like a retreat and a nurturing place. And I'd go walking in the bush most days. So yeah, that's what keeps me grounded, nature.
Nature. And
Which is the reason I chose landscaping as well.
exactly. And can I just say, I've seen your work. Also, I've been to your place. Amazing.
Oh, thank
Amazing.
you.
It's like a walk-in boutique. It's like a boutique. You have very rustic style, very modern, by the way. And it's a very interesting, and I think that's what I love as well, modern industrial, right? Minimalism.
Well, it's not so minimalist anymore. It's become a bit maximalist because I'm a bit of a bowerbird. I've been collecting a lot more plants and a lot of art, actually.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, this is your chance now to just make another exhibition happen.
Before that happens, though, I'm off to. I mean, my other passion is traveling, so I'm off to Norway and Japan in September. So I'm planning on taking another suite of photographs and seeing what happens.
And I think traveling is a big part of your photo work, right? Your photo career.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because then the pictures that you take are from places, and the people have stories, and you have stories to tell about those people, which is a very interesting connection. So when you take a picture, how do you remember that person?
When I was in India, I took hundreds of portraits, and that was an incredible process. And when I got back to Sydney, I actually self-published a book of Indian portraits as well, which you haven't seen. But the engagement with each person that I took a portrait of was quite special because it had to be really quickly instigated. And it was interesting the way that you had to connect with someone very quickly in order to capture their essence. But the last exhibition I had was inspired by my return journey to Scotland, where my grandparents were born and sadly were banished from when they were quite young because my grandmother had a baby before she was married, which was frowned upon. So they had to leave the island. They came to Australia, set up a farm, and they sadly never returned to the island ever again. And my grandmother had kind of coached me in island culture, and I know that she was grooming me to go back there. So I went back there and photographed the people and the villages So that was a starting point for the exhibition, Crossing the Water.
Wow, it's beautiful. Every picture has a story to tell,
Mm,
right?
I hope so, yeah.
Now, this is pretty much definitely my last question, but changing times, I think these days are you need to have a changing idol as well, that someone who inspires you, someone currently who you admire or follow.
Mm.
So who's your current idol? Or if I say no, not more of an idol, but someone who you follow or are inspired by, who would that be?
That would definitely have to be the Irish author Claire Keegan, who I discovered her work when I was in Dublin a few years ago, and I snapped up every book that she's written and read them all. And I just love the way that she can craft beautiful sentences and capture chunks of human endeavor, human experience, compassions. So yeah, she's my current inspiration.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ian, for
Thank you for having me.
coming to the Creators Chat. I definitely feel like a lot of our viewers and listeners got inspired from your story and from your answers, from the creative process as well. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Now, before I do let you go, how do people stay in touch with you or follow your journey?
you. By Instagram, I guess.
So just follow your Instagram handle, which we will add to the video.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to you as well. If you do enjoy this episode, don't forget to like this video and share. Also subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more interviews like this at the Creators Chat. All right, I'm just gonna take time to change the page. Wow, Kylie's iconic dress. You have to show me which dress she actually wore.
Later.
Maybe we can put some pictures along with this.
Oh, I have no words. I'm over here like Kylie Minogue. I'm trying not to gasp.
So you're not recording now?
If you love this episode, make sure that you drop in a comment. What was your favorite moment of this episode? What was the takeaway that you took home and you are going to work on? Because your feedback matters to us most. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast from.